Okay, so in this particular video we're going to focus on Wi-Fi hacking. So for this session we are going to utilize a tool called Airgeddon, and we'll start from scratch, whereby we'll be creating our own password for testing, and then we're going to capture the handshake. Then once we have the handshake file, in other videos that's where we are going to demonstrate to now we can crack a Wi-Fi password using a handshake file with multiple tools. So to start with, we need to set up our password, Wi-Fi password. So if you look at the available Wi-Fi's, I'm connected to KMU main Wi-Fi. So since this is a Wi-Fi I'm using, I would like to set up a password. So in the password which I will set up will be on a guest Wi-Fi. So we have two KMU Wi-Fi's, we have guest and main Wi-Fi, as you can see. So the password which I will set up is for guest Wi-Fi. So let me just log in on the Wi-Fi so that you can see the password for which I will set up. Okay, let's do that again. Okay, so what to do now is that we'll go where it says Wi-Fi settings. So in a case you are using your phone, you need to make sure that you set up your password on a particular phone you are using. So in this case, we are setting up our KMU guest Wi-Fi. So one thing you need to take note is that for these tools which we are using, the security which can be actually cracked, we have WPA 2 and 1, not 3. Okay, so in a case your device is having WPA 3, it means that you cannot perform this particular lab, okay, because you're only covering WPA and WPA 2. So in this particular case now, because we are just doing a demonstration, I would like to come up with a simple password for which we are going to crack. So to do that, we need first to access what we call a word list. So a word list is just a document or a dictionary which contains millions of passwords. So to access a word list, you just need to open up your file and then go in root. Then you are going to find the folder which is called user. And then inside that folder called user, we have another folder which is here. Then just look for word lists folder. So let's do that. Okay, so this is our word list folder. So inside this word list folder, we can see that we have multiple word lists. So we are going to target rocq.txt or this zip file, because this is the bigger word list we have in Linux. So I'm going to say extract here, and then it will be extracted as a txt file. Okay, now since we have our word list, we can try to access our terminal and try to see if the password we're trying to set up is part of this rocq.txt. Now to do that, I just need to view the content for this file. So one thing you need to take note is that this is the desktop and this is just the base. So if I say pwd to print the working directory, you can see that I'm on Soko James. So if I list again, that's where we can see the desktop. So I'll go inside my desktop. Then on the desktop now we can see that we have this file which is rocq.txt. So I'll say cut, meaning we are going to view the content of this file which is rocq.txt. Then I'll just say rocq.txt. Now I would like to look for a particular password if it's available. So I'll say pipe, meaning we need to filter for a particular password you're looking for. So grep is used to search. So I'll search within quotations, then I'll say maybe this is it. So meaning the password I'm looking for in this particular document is called this is it. So if this password is part of this document, we're going to it. Okay, so we can see we have multiple passwords, which is having this is it, but even this is it itself is part of the passwords, meaning we can proceed with our lab. So why are we doing this? We want to make sure that for demonstration you understand the concept and you find the password faster. But if you are targeting a real person, for which if you have permissions to do so, you need to make sure that even though that word list is complex, you need to be patient when it comes to cracking the password. But again, if it's not part of the word list, we have another attack which is called DevoTwin, for which you can use social engineering. Still you can get the password, but that will be covered in another video. So now since we have our password, we can set it up here. So for our guest Wi-Fi, we set up a password which is called this is it. This is it. So let's just confirm. So this is the password. This is it. So you can see this is a weak password. So because this is a weak password, there's a possibility that we can crack it in no time. Okay, so I'll save. So I'm just saving the settings. Okay, so what now you need to do is that you need to have another device. Okay, you need to have another device which is connected to that KMU guest Wi-Fi. So in this particular case, I'm using my Windows machine to connect to that guest Wi-Fi. So all you need to do is just make sure that one device is connected. So the main reason for that is that you cannot get the handshake file minus someone being connected to the target Wi-Fi. So think of it as if we have someone who is connected to the Wi-Fi, there's a possibility that we can get that password file, because once we authenticate the authenticated device, once they reconnect back again, they will give us the password. That's the whole idea. Okay, so once you are connected, now we can start the lab. So in this particular case, you need to access your terminal as an administrator or root. So it says sudo su, which is super user do. Okay, so now we want to go in as root. Then once you access it as root, you can now start the lab. So at first I said we are going to use a tool which is Airgeddon. So just type Airgeddon, then run the tool. So just wait for the tool to initialize. So this version I'm using for Parrot is the latest version, which is 7.0. So 1.2 is not installed, which is beef, but you can just skip the installation by saying no n. Okay, now we are starting the lab. So the first thing will be the first thing you are going to see is an interface. So we have two interfaces in my case. We have this one starting with an E, is for Ethernet. So this is for the wired connection. Then in our case, we are targeting a wireless connection, for which we are using Wi-Fi, not Ethernet. So I'm going to go with option number 2. So on option number 2, we would like now to, if you see this interface is ending with a 0 and they are telling us to say managed. So managed mode is the default mode for which we use our Wi-Fi. So in managed mode, you can connect to the available Wi-Fis. Okay. Now, what we need to do is we need to switch to monitor mode. So we need to monitor the packets, for which are just messages which are being exchanged, and to do advanced things such as scanning hidden networks. So put our interface in monitor mode. Then once we do that, even the interface name will change to mon, meaning monitor, as you can see. So now the mode is in monitor. Then if we verify again, you find that now we cannot connect to any available Wi-Fi, but that's what we want for this lab. Okay, now once we do that, we need to go on handshake. Okay, option number 5. So WPA uses a 4-way handshake. Okay, so this is just a process by which devices, meaning the client and the authenticator, exchange keys. Those keys I'm talking about are authentication keys and encryption keys. Okay, so we cannot go into details unless if you do the theory part. So just go for option number 5. So on option number 5, now we are going to go with option number 6, which is capture handshake. So an handshake, not just a four-way handshake. Think of it as a connection which is done between two communicating devices. So in this case, this pilot device would like to connect to the MiFi, for which is providing the Wi-Fi. Okay, so in this particular case, for us to do that, we need to create a connection. That's an handshake. Okay, so we need to capture that handshake for us to do that. Now go on option number 6. Now once we start doing this, we need to make sure that we scan for available networks. So in this case, our target is KMU guest Wi-Fi. So once you see your target, just close this particular window. Then you are going to see all the available scanned Wi-Fi's. So our target, as I've said, is KMU guest Wi-Fi. So we need to select option number 2. Now we need to send the authentication requests or AirPlay attack. So as I've said before, my Windows device is connected to the KMU guest Wi-Fi, meaning that Windows device is authenticated to that MiFi. Now, to authenticate, we are simply saying we will disconnect the authenticated Windows device to the MiFi. Then once it tries to reconnect again, it means that they'll give us that password which was used to authenticate, meaning we are getting the password file which we are calling the handshake. So go with option number 2. So here you can send a number of packets you want from a range of 10 to 100. Let me say I'm sending 50 packets, meaning this is the delay which will be made in seconds for that particular device to be disconnected. So once the user reconnects again, it means that now they've given us the password file. So if no one reconnects, it means that we cannot get that handshake. So let's try it. So on my Windows machine, I'll make sure that I'm disconnected and I try to reconnect again. Okay, so still waiting. Okay, so congratulations, we've successfully managed to capture that handshake, because on my Windows machine I was disconnected and it is set to an auto connect, meaning once I was disconnected, it has been now reconnected. So you will see this in action if you are following along with the lab, depending on the device you are using. So in this particular case, would like to save a handshake file somewhere. So I don't want to save it in the root folder, so I'll just create a folder which I'll call Wi-Fi. So this folder, I'll just call it Wi-Fi. Then this folder, as you can see, for now it's empty. So the folder is empty. So what I'll do now is that I'll drag this folder, put it here. Now in Linux, normally we use single quotations to indicate that okay, the path is just a single path. Okay, so we can see that on home we are in Soko James, then on desktop we have a folder which is Wi-Fi. So once I press enter, it means that particular handshake file has been saved in this Wi-Fi folder, as you can see. Now since we have that file saved, we need to go back on the main menu so that we can decrypt that password handshake file using this same tool. So I'll go on 0. Then on option number 6, we see that we have offline WPA or WPA2 decrypt. No wonder at first I said if you're using WPA3 for this lab, it won't work because we can only decrypt WPA and WPA2. Okay, so in our case, I'm sure we know it's WPA2. So just go on option number 6. So the mode, you can see the current mode for this Wi-Fi is personal. So we are going to select personal, which is 1. Then we have multiple ways on how we can decrypt. So for now we just utilize the first option, which we are using a dictionary for where crack. So I'll just go with option number 1, but you can choose many options from there. Then now we'll set everything to default, so I'll just say yes, and again I'll say yes. Then this is the most important part now. So here you need to enter the dictionary file. So remember, at first I showed you now we can extract this word list, which is the dictionary file. So you just need to grab it, then make sure that it's in single quotations for a Linux system to indicate that it's a single path. Okay, so once we do that, now we can start cracking that password. Remember, our password was "this is it." So the two will be cracking for each and every possible Wi-Fi until we find it. So as you can see now, we have a key found, which is "this is it." So that's how you can crack this particular Wi-Fi. So as I've said, this is the end of this video, but in other videos I'll demonstrate, or now we can now just use the handshake file and utilize other tools such as John the Ripper to crack that Wi-Fi password. So my name is Asoko James, representing KMU Cybersecurity Tutorials and IT Society. Thanks for watching.